style just kind of grates on you after a while. At least that's what I got out of it. A couple songs in, I'm going, oh my God, this guy still sounds exactly the same. It doesn't go up, it doesn't go down. It's the same tone the entire album. And if you like it, great. For me, it kind of grated on me after a while.
I didn't get that at all. I've never gotten that out of Grave Digger. So I think it's one of those personal preference things. Healed by Metal, let's face it, is about as cheesy as you can get.
Oh,
I mean, that's
yeah,
just,
it's well,
dude,
and speaking of that,
that's straight cheese metal right there.
It is, and I'm okay with cheese metal. Healed by Metal's fine. What I don't understand is later on you have 10 Commandments of metal, and as I'm listening to the song, I'm going, okay, where are the commandments?
Yeah, I thought the same thing. I did. Now, having said that,
10 Commandments of metal, and I'm going, okay, well, what is the third commandment? I didn't hear anything. What the hell are you guys doing?
Maybe it's in a future song, like Metropolis Part 2. Who knows? I will say, though, that Healed by Metal, as cheesy as it is, I can totally see that being played at, like, the Wacken Open Air Festival.
Oh, yeah.
I could totally see that. And people just losing their minds over it. So I don't have an issue with it. In fact, I like the song. When Night Falls, I loved. Lawbreaker, very Judas Priest, Call for War, Kill Ritual, Hallelujah. Now, here's something interesting. They had 2 bonus tracks on this CD.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if you listened to the bonus tracks or not.
I did, and actually, here's the thing I don't get. Kingdom of the Night is a bonus track, and I don't understand why it didn't make the cut of the album.
Oh, that's fucking rules.
Because that's a great song. In fact, my favorite song on the album is When Night Falls. That song, killer song, and vocally it works. Very heavy, very up-tempo. I like it a lot. Lawbreaker sounds dead up like Primal Fear, to your point. But Kingdom of the Night's one of my favorite songs on the album, and it's a kind of thrashy, really, really good song. It's one of those songs that I'm kind of scratching my head going, why is this a bonus track? Because you look at like Laughing with the Dead, which is the last song on the album. I mean, I almost fall asleep during that thing. I don't understand why that's your album closer. To me, it didn't make a lot of sense. And then when you hear Bucket List, which is the second bonus track, that's a very late 70s, early 80s Judas Priest vibe I get on that track especially. So,
but done very well.
Yeah, both the bonus tracks are really good and should have been part of the album more so. There's a couple songs I could think of. I mean, cheesy and whatnot. 10 Commandments of Metal's okay. Laughing with the Dead, like I just mentioned, I could do without. I don't know why those weren't part of the lineup of the album. It actually would have made the overall album if you're just basing it on what's on the as Urban Breed or called the Walmart version of the album without the bonus tracks. I don't know why those aren't part of it. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, a couple things there. First of all, whenever somebody puts a bad bonus track on there, we downgrade them, right? This CD might have been such and such, had an oven for the bonus tracks, which, puffed. And so we would downgrade it because it's part of what you put on the CD. So, I'm not going to hold it against them that they're bonus tracks. What is a bonus track anymore anyway?
No, I agree.
Right?
I mean,
a bonus track is now on Spotify. It's not like you get this because you bought the CD or you bought the Japanese version of the CD. What is a bonus track? I mean, anymore, I just think it's verbiage. I don't get it. So I'm not going to hold it against them that it wasn't on, quote, the CD, but those 2 songs are awesome. And in fact, I love this whole CD. I really do. And I know you're not as big of a fan, and I can appreciate that. You're a little bit younger than me. You weren't quite around for the German power metal scene. I give this 8.5 out of 10.
Okay. We're a little bit off there in regards to our overall score. I have 7.5 out of 10. I mean, not a huge difference. Not something that I would listen to and never listen to again, but not something I'm going to repeatedly be putting on, repeat and just playing over and over and over again in my headphones. So, there's some good tracks here. When Night Falls is great, Kingdom of the Night, and even Bucket List are both really good songs, both the bonus tracks. A lot of Primal Fear influence there. If you're a Primal Fear fan, you're going to dig it. The only problem is you have the Primal Fear sound without the incredibly good Primal Fear vocals, and instead you get just, I don't know.
I disagree. Yeah, I disagree.
Again, you can agree to disagree, and so can I, but either way, curious what your guys thinking on this. If you're an old Grave Digger fan from way back in the day, let us know your thoughts on it. Am I off base? Is Bib off base? I don't know. We'll find out, but that was Healed by Metal by Grave Digger. That was Silver River from the often referenced but not often reviewed band Gotthard, which Biv and I have talked about many, many times on many episodes of the Courtroom Metal podcast, because they historically have been one of mine, and I think even Biv's more liked and even favorite, like hard rock, kind of that 80s, 90s, just sweet spot vibe of hard rock that we've come to know and love, and Gotthard does it better than anybody. This is, of course, off their album Silver. This is their 25th anniversary, hence the name of the album. And these guys are from Switzerland. They are absolute legends in their country. I mean, seriously, they could fart and release it on a CD, and it's number one in Switzerland. I mean, that's how big these guys are. And I remember first checking them out, and this is one of those weird bands. And again, as many of you know, Biv and I are friends, and we were, friends well before we did a podcast together. And this is one of those bands that I heard on my own and went, Biv would dig the shit out of these guys. And then I hadn't talked to Biv for a little while. I call him up and I said, dude, I have a band that totally screams you. And he's like, and I think you even guessed who it was or something. I don't remember. But we instantly started going, oh, dude, those guys are freaking awesome. We started naming tracks off of Lip Service, which is the album we were both most recently listening to from them. And it's just incredible. I mean, seriously, great stuff. If you've not listened to Gotthard stuff at all, you need to go back and do so, like, right now. Like, pause the podcast and go listen to it. Lip Service was the album I fell in love with, and, of course, really what sets them apart for me were the vocals of Steve Lee, who's just incredible. I mean, just an amazing, amazing singer. Obviously they had Lip Service that came out in 2005. You had Domino Effect, which was after that, which wasn't as good. And then Need to Believe was the last album they did with Steve Lee. And the reason why I say last album, it's not as if Steve Lee was let go from the band or he quit. He tragically died in 2010, of all things. I mean, I guess it just really, really sucks. The story about it was, he's always wanted to take like a across the country motorcycle ride through the United States. It was a dream of his. He always wanted to do it. They took some time off. They get on their bikes. They're cruising the country. It's raining like hell. They pull off to the side of the road and a truck wipes him out. Guy's dead. Tragically, the band doesn't make music for, at one point they contemplated just not even doing this anymore without Steve as part of the band. But then in 2014, they came back. Nick Mader was essentially named the new vocalist for Gotthard. They had the album Bang. To me, it fell flat. It wasn't much of a bang at all. And here's what I've figured out, Biv. This is what I've said, and we've talked about this on the show, where we thought that there's just something missing from Gotthard. They just don't have it anymore. And I can't put my finger on what it is. You remember talking about that? We've said that they've never really been the same.
No, I totally remember talking about that, and the missing element is Steve Lee.
The missing element is Steve Lee, and not just his vocals, because let's be fair here. When you hear Nick on this album, Nick can sing very well. He has pipes, he has chops, he can do the job. What Nick lacks, and I think what this album lacks, and I think that's why Bang didn't stand out to me and isn't something that's in my rotation, and honestly, why Silver will not be part of my rotation for the same reason. There's no hook. There's no just sugary sweet chorus that Steve Lee could take a song that was good and all of a sudden you're singing it on the top at the top of your lungs in your car every time it comes on. Like, that's how good he was at chorus writing. That's how good he was at making you get hooked into a song. And Nick or the band anymore just doesn't do it. And so songs that start out really promising end up being good-ish and not great like they've been before when Steve was the lead singer. Maybe that's not fair to Nick. Maybe it is. I don't know. But I'm telling you, that's the missing element I've got from this band moving forward. And it's all over the place on this album.
Well, I couldn't agree with you more. There are certain songs on the CD that I do like, and this CD is called Silver because it's roughly the 25th anniversary of the band being around. Now, Steve Lee has not been around, has not been a part of the band since 2010, as you mentioned, Jason. But since then they released Bang, like you said, and also a couple other like best ofs and redos and other BS. So this album, I listened to Silver River, which is the lead off track, and I thought it was really good Gotthard style. Stay With Me, a beautiful power ballad. Beautiful is good. Reason for this was, did you get Kiss from a Rose by Seal on that?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, there's just so many songs that start out either A, I'm going, what the hell are you guys doing?
Right.
Or B, there's a lot of songs that start out like, okay, all right, you got me, and then it just falls apart. It's like the verse is just blah, or the verse is okay, and then the chorus is nothing special at all, and there's nothing memorable about it.
I thought Reason for This was just a straight rip off of Seal.
Yeah, it's totally. My notes for this song totally skippable. That's all I wrote.
Well, I didn't have it skippable. It's good, but it's a rip off.
Yeah. See, to me, it's just good call though, because it starts out that way.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, good call. You're right. Because I'm like, what? Dude, you're right on. I remember listening to that song. I'm like, what the hell does this sound like? I don't like it, but what's this sound like? That's exactly what it is. You're exactly right.
And then, they have Miss Me and Customized Lovin' as their bonus tracks, which were good. But the problem is, for every good track they had one that was awful. Everything inside is just flat out awful. How their label or any of their friends or family didn't listen to that and say, this sucks. I mean, it's bad. Not fooling anyone. Now, with a name like Tequila Symphony No. 5, I was kind of looking forward to that. Because we've all had those moments of, you know what, fuck it, I'm just getting drunk, I don't care.
Right.
And so with Tequila Symphony No. 5, you're like, oh, well, this could be my anthem. Only Love Is Real and Blame on Me, all of those were totally skippable to me.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
let me go back to Tequila Sunrise No. 5, or Tequila Sunrise. Tequila, there's a slip. Tequila Symphony No. 5. That's one of those songs that listen to the first minute, and you're going, okay, this is going to turn into a actually pretty killer track. And it just falls apart. And then it's like a wasted opportunity. Like, you had such a great build-up, and then you just, pissed it away. Like, it was just, it's really, really disappointing. Only Love Is Real is, like you said, it's decent at best. There's a couple of songs that I really do like. Blame on Me is, up-tempo, a little Styx organ. I don't know if you noticed that, like a late, and you also hear that on Silver River, like kind of a late 70s organ, Deep Purple-ish sound in some ways.
Yeah, Deep Purple.
So that's cool. Electrified, by the way, probably one of my favorite tracks on the album. Sounds like the Gotthard I would know and love in the Steve Lee days. And, Everything Inside also is one of the more standout tracks of it. But for every song like that, you have Stay With Me, like I said, we talked about it's the first single that they released, and you could tell why. Totally radio-friendly, more of a ballad. Beautiful, it's a slow rock ballad, it's meh. It's good, I guess, maybe. Miss Me has a great build-up, and again, here's an example. That's an example of a song that, when you listen to Miss Me, Steve Lee would have taken that song and taken it to the next level. And instead, it's okay. You know what I mean? It's just that they just don't have the ability anymore of making that sugary, sweet, hooky chorus that you just want to sing along to. It's just not there. It's very bluesy, and I'm okay with bluesy as long as it's good bluesy, and it's not. Last in Line is very bluesy, but it's good. This is bluesy and less rock, but no hooks that make you just want to continue to listen to it. It's just that's, to me, it took me it took me 2 albums to figure out what's missing in Gotthard besides the obvious fact that we have a new singer. But just because you have a new singer doesn't mean you don't have to make good music anymore, but it's just not there. It's not terrible, it's just not great. And it used to be really great, and that's what sucks about the end result for this album for me.
So what'd you give it?
I gave it a 7 of 10.